Hey nerds, wanted to hit you with a quick video today, Sunday, day of Walking Dead, talking about death predictions. Because as I see, there's only a few characters on the chopping block that really make sense right now based on, who they generally are okay with killing. And story-wise, what's making sense. The people I mentioned, I don't necessarily expect to die at the season finale, but they can also die in the season opening, as sometimes stakes are raised even higher, as we've seen before. I think the top of the list has to be Sasha, based on the last episode. There's almost no way she won't die. It's just how long they'll actually wait to show her dead, I think, is the biggest thing. I think next would be Morgan. Morgan, because he's been on the show for a long time, and like, at least character-wise, he has very strong relationships with Ezekiel, Carol, and Rick. His death would definitely be an extra blow to everything that's been happening, especially considering that Morgan's kind of off his rocker now again. He's unstable again now. I'm not sure if narratively it would be sufficient for him to try to like get back to where he was trying to be at. I mean, I think the only thing that makes sense in terms of character progression, if he didn't die, was for him to become a little bit more like Carol, and be okay with killing, but very, very limitedly. However, I think especially because of his belief that living by the sword will kill you by the sword, that him going back to the sword after being a pacifist or a near pacifist for so long can only result in his death. As sad as that makes me. Although if he does die this season, that means we'll be down 2 black characters. And we all know that The Walking Dead has gotten some flack from killing black characters before and then immediately replacing them. Which is kind of a hard box to push yourself out of. It was like, well, if I don't replace them before, then I replace after. Regardless, is gonna be seen as a very planned thing and something to be very aware of. But of course, if we just say balls to the wall, oh, just a character will die, like we're not really playing for like the types of people on the show, then it can easily lead to there not being a lot of people of color on the show. So that's a thing to also consider. So that might be one of the bigger political like reasons that Morgan might not die this season, because no way Sasha won't, in my belief. I think that Enid actually has a really high chance of death, even though they've been kind of grooming her for like a kind of mini Maggie leadership position, especially because she's been able to like work covertly so well. And I remember Noah and how he seemed to be kind of like, look, even though Beth died, we got something good out of it. We got this new person who's trying to contribute to the group, and joining Alexandria, he wanted to, help build the walls and stuff. And, they put some time and energy into showing that, he was trying to be the next step. And then he died. And especially because they love killing young people on the show, especially ones full of promise. And killing Enid would really push Carl even more into a darker zone. Actually, compared to the comics, he's not really dark at all right now. I think it would be very compelling for the character for Enid to die. Not that I want to see her die, but if they do kill her, I could see why they do it. Especially with giving so much relevance to her, with her getting a keepsake from Sasha and a keepsake from Maggie. It would make it so much more painful to lose that character after we put in so much stock and hope into them. And it can also inspire Maggie to, grind even harder with her leadership. I won't get spoilery, but I do think Gregory might die. I actually kind of hope that he will, just because he is one of the antagonists that is less liked, even by me. I tend to be a person who likes a lot of Walking Dead villains, but because he's kind of like so slimy and so cowardy, and just could be working the field a whole lot better, especially considering how much of a coward Eugene is, and he's still doing things that he believes are right regardless. Right, not good. And make that distinction. I do think that some of the plot line for Gregory in the comics will pan out still, but I do think they'll hopefully change some things. I'm still up in the air. I think keeping Gregory alive will probably be better for the narrative, to have that character who's not a physically strong villain, but still has a presence and still like makes things more complicated for everyone. I think at the bottom of the list would have to be Carol, in terms of the people I expect to die. Carol, because she's getting back into the fray. She felt like she would lose her soul by killing people, because you have to kill people in this world if you love people, because you have to defend the people you love. I think in the same way that Morgan's going back to how he used to be, Carol is going to inevitably fall into some of her old habits, and it might push her over the edge, especially because she already has guilt mounting, obviously, over Benjamin, because if no one's acknowledged this yet, in your Walking Dead sphere of the world, Benjamin totally would not have gotten shot if he went out with Carol. Carol had said yes to, watching her work, as he put it. Those are all my death predictions. Anyone? Nope. I almost forgot. Gabriel, Father Gabriel. As much as I like Father Gabriel, I think that his death might be imminent as well, because he seems to be, have completed his story arc. He is, all intents and purposes, a badass now. He's shown his worth to the group, and poetically, the reverse kind of his circumstance starting in The Walking Dead happened. He locked people out of his church, kept food from them, and that's how he survived through the apocalypse. And he felt really guilty for that, and everyone kind of had a lot of disdain for him because of that, and he was like ultra coward. He even went as far as to throw blame on the survivors when they first entered Alexandria, trying to get them thrown out, but also because he hated himself. Go figure. And now he got kidnapped, and he was forced to help the kidnapper take all Alexandria's food, and yet the people who are left to figure out what happened, some of them at least, Rick being one of the main people who used to not trust Gabriel the most, actually trust him and actually believe that he wouldn't just abandon them. And we all know about judging people based on past experiences with them. Usually makes sense. It didn't end up happening this time. Gabriel came through, found a new group, accidentally in a way, but he stayed true to his guns and wanted to be found and wanted to do the group of service, and kept doing the group of service in dealing with the new group, even though holding someone at knife point didn't necessarily help. It kind of did in terms of negotiations in a way with the Junkers. So considering that, I don't see any more story relevance Gabriel could really have. Considering all that, I hope you guys have a great Sunday, and I hope that your favorite characters don't die, or if they do, that they serve a greater purpose.